We're live. 3.1. Okay. Welcome everybody to House Energy and Digital Infrastructure. It is Thursday, March 12th, and we are here this morning to vote on H718, an act relating to building energy efficiency. And then we're going to move right from that discussion into a discussion and I think a probable vote on our committee bill about the Joint Carbon Emissions Reduction Committee. So that's what we're doing this morning. And I'm Representative Kathleen James from Manchester.
Scott Campbell from St. Johnsbury.
Richard Bailey, Memorial 2.
Chris Morrow, Wyndham, Windsor, Venny. Michael Southworth, Caledonia 2. Christopher Howland, Rutland 4.
Garage Glory, Washington 2.
Laura Civilian, Wyndham 2.
Great. And in the room.
Dana Lee Perry, Pinna Crossing Group.
Super.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also another person.
Oh, sorry.
I'm Zachary Mawson from the Community Service UDL.
Super. Thanks for being here. And yes, and Rep. Kleppner.
Graham Kleppner, Chittenden 13, Burlington.
Super. Thanks for calling in. Rep. Campbell, do you want to just give a quick little howdy ho? Here we go.
Sure. Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. We are talking about H718. This is draft 3.1. That we've made a number of changes to over the course of the session to try to be as accommodating as possible to the agencies that are involved. That is the Division of Fire Safety, Office of Professional Regulation, and Public Service Department in particular, in order to find a path to stimulating more compliance with energy codes through market mechanisms, not through enforcement. And this latest version changed the funding, as we talked about the other day, changed the funding from tapping a special fund, the Thermal Energy and Process Fuels Fund, and RGGI revenues. Instead of doing that, we're positing that we would take some money, or appropriate some money from the general fund to fund improving the residential contractor registry and making it sort of raising its visibility, making it much more user friendly for consumers and for contractors. And and that was the major change. There was also a change regarding the energy education modules that have been in statute for a number of years and that are required professions registered at the Office of Professional Regulation and trades that are licensed through Division of Fire Safety. So we had a conversation about all that, and that's where we are. I appreciate this time taking this out.
Super. And it'll go from here to ropes.
Yes.
Okie doke. So at this point, let's get some motions going.
I move that we approve draft 3.1 of
H718.
H718, an act relating to building energy efficiency. Favorable.
Wait,
No, first we have to do the straw poll. I move that we approve, yeah.
I move that we approve draft 3.1 to H718.
Great. Okay.
so just a step we've been omitting, but
Yeah.
come to my attention.
Gara's gotten deeper into the rules. So straw poll, all in favor? Okay, all opposed? Oh, Graham, straw poll, this is our little first step to basically approve the, okay. Rep. Kleppner votes, yeah.
You didn't hear my thumbs up?
Okay, so
Did not. All right, so favorable.
next motion.
Sorry, just need to get my phone to stop listening to me. I move that we report H718 favorable with amendment.
Great. Okay, clerk.
Next. Representative Bailey,
No.
Representative Campbell,
Yes.
Representative Collison,
No.
Representative Kleppner,
Yes.
Representative Mora,
Yes.
Representative Sedalia,
Yes.
Representative Southwood,
No.
Representative Torrey, yes, and Chair James.
Yes.
Okay. 6. 0, and the reporter of the bill is
It's me.
All right. So I'll leave it to you guys to notify the clerk and do all the things. And the bill is off to approps. And so we'll see it on the notice council or calendar, and then it'll be referred to appropriations. And thanks for all your hard work on this, Scott,
Thank you.
over many years.
We saying goodbye to Brandon?
I don't know, Graham, do you want to, can you hang around for the joint committee discussion?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great.
Right.
Let's move on. We've got, on our website, let me find it. Maybe it's in today's folder. Yes. No. Alrighty. Let's see here. Okay, Alex, yesterday at 5:12 PM, Ellen emailed us, the committee, the first draft of the committee bill. This is the joint carbon emissions reduction thing. And I've sent that to the committee, so everybody should have it in their inbox, but I don't see where it's posted.
You don't see it? Okay.
Is
What's the
that not,
number on that?
is that not,
It's 260765.
zero, DR 0765 is under
There it is.
Date,
I'm sorry. Sorry.
311 draft 1.1?
Yep, that's it. All right. Thanks, everybody. It was there. I thought those were two drafts of the
Mine
other committee bill.
But I said 511.
That was an email from, yep. So as long as you've got draft 260765, draft 1.1, dated, as Chris said, 3/11 at 2:42 PM, that's it. All right. So Ellen, I think she's not available yet, but I mean, I can walk us through it. So you can see the purpose. We're updating the name, the makeup, and the duties of the Joint Carbon Emissions Reduction Committee. We talked quite a bit about the section of statute that created the committee. And so you can see the changes we made there. We added "and energy oversight" to the title. So it would now be called the Joint Carbon Emissions Reduction and Energy Oversight Committee. We kept it at 5 members from the House and Senate each, but we knocked out appropriations for reasons that we can go over now. Ellen had testified to us that Approps was on the committee at the time when they were actively looking at the allocation and spending of the VW settlement money. And that's no longer relevant. And a lot of the policies that we consider or move or talk about in these areas tend to be heavily policy oriented, not have big general fund appropriations. So I'm comfortable with this. We added energy and digital infrastructure. So that leaves from the House energy, commerce, environment, and transportation with 1 at large. Then on the Senate, we'll see what the Senate thinks about this. They very well might change this around, but we have economic development, natural resources, and transportation. And then 2 at large. And then we stipulated that not all appointees should be from the same political party. We, instead of may meet, we have shall meet at least 5 times during adjournment. So just a reminder, this is a committee that may meet during the session but shall meet during the off session. So provide some continuity and kind of cross committee, cross House Senate oversight work during the summer and fall. We knocked out ledge ops because sorry, can't remember what Scott said. They're ceasing to exist or something. We added joint fiscal. And I asked Ellen to check into that and make sure it was correct. And then after our discussion about the duties, we lead now with concerning the future of energy generation and siting in Vermont. And then also include the previous charge, we didn't take that out, of reducing or overseeing carbon emissions from Vermont's electric, residential, commercial buildings and transportation sectors. And that is it. Yeah.
I appreciate the addition of the duties language. I would not be able to support this with the emissions language in there for Vermont's electric sector. We could either take that out or take out the whole thing about emissions for the electric sector.
Well, I don't want to take out the whole thing about emissions because that's the title of the committee. And the reason it was established. So I'm not comfortable removing that entirely. It shifts the focus of the committee completely.
And I apologize, I'm just reading this in real time.
Yeah.
But I cannot support an initiative that is asking us to look at the electric sector emissions, which is where we have, I can.
So we talked about that yesterday, and I understand everything you said, which is that the electric sector is already highly regulated. They are compliant with the res. They are far and away the closest to the finish line and are farthest down the field on emissions. So they are utterly not the problem here. And that our emissions are generated disproportionately by our sectors that are unregulated, which are thermal and transportation. So I get everything you're saying.
Yeah.
In my mind, all those facts simply indicate to me that it wouldn't be any kind of logical focus of the committee's work to knock out that word entirely to kind of, it feels like to make a point.
Yeah.
It feels like we then there's nothing in their portfolio at all to indicate that this might be something they might ever want to talk about. I do feel like you're trying to make a point, and I get your point, but to remove it from the charge of the committee completely feels like, what if they want to talk about that at some point, or understand how that interplays, or even just compare and contrast?
Yeah. So I guess maybe I should make my point more directly, which I have not done yet. So I think that we need to be concerned about ensuring that we have baseload power in the state of Vermont. I'm worried about the amount of power that we need, that our utilities need with the increasing loads. We're doing a lot of work. And thank you for that, Madam Chair, on H 727, which addresses some of those concerns. What I'm worried about is I think we really need to spend time thinking about that, about generation, about siting, how we bring in new load. And it is my opinion that we have some extremists in our state who would potentially leverage this opportunity to try and shut down biomass. And I will not support that.
So I'm still not making the leap
Yeah. So
between a comprehensive description of a committee's area of oversight and then these outcomes that you're talking about.
I would
That's like
suggest you just
saying-
take emissions out, period.
Yeah, I'm not at all comfortable with that.
I would also suggest that keeping electric in provides an avenue for talking about nuclear and how nuclear is handled, and how nuclear is carbon free, so-called, in terms of its operation anyway.
Actually, I think siting does that as well. I think siting also does that for the siting potentially of new biomass. What leaving emissions in for our electric sector does is, I think, provides an opportunity, a legislatively blessed opportunity to say, please look at these things.
Well, no, what I'm talking about though is not new nuclear, but existing nuclear, the contracts that RBUs have for nuclear currently, which has been the focus of some discussion about, removing that from requiring recs to cover it.
I mean,
I still think you're making a really big leap from the statutory charge of a committee to an outcome. This committee can't vote on bills. It has no power. It doesn't approve funding. It's going to convene over the summer and fall to discuss stuff, and we hope deliver a report. So to go from there to thinking that everything's going to be hijacked, and we're going to somehow shut down biomass. I mean, this committee they can't vote on anything. They can't bring forward legislation. They can't.
Yeah, I apologize that I just read this draft, and I appreciate the opportunity to share my perspective. And I think it's important to have this committee, and I would like to be helpful in making sure that we can pass it. I will not be able to vote for it with this.
Okay, well, it's in my mind silly to do something this small and not have a unanimous vote at a committee. So we don't need to advance this at all. The committee can, be appointed or not.
But
If we remove the word reduction from the title and just study carbon emissions, there's no guarantee that the future energy of Vermont to service growing low growth is going to result in a reduction in carbon. We may require additional biomass carbon, if you will. We may actually have a slight increase in our carbon emissions from these sections of the economy.
Yeah, the title of this committee has nothing to do with what the legislature is actually going to vote on and accomplish in upcoming bienniums. So
Just to tell you.
yeah, I
was just gonna say, because we're part of Reggie, like we're involved in electric, emissions related funding that we get at the state. So I feel like that's an important thing to keep in, because it is possible that this committee will be making decisions about, or suggestions and recommendations about how to use Reggie money.
why does it seem to be unanimous? I think it's if the rest of the committee is in favor of it, it's voted out.
yeah, why would do straw poll?
May request a 5-minute break to confer with people in my party.
Sure. So why don't we adjourn? And we'll come back why don't we come back in 10? Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody.